This is a Guide Your Light network production, creating podcasts with purpose.
My name is Kiani Mills, and this podcast is created to help you see, feel, and experience the human side of business. I'm a business owner, an entrepreneur, and a parent. And like many who have travelled this path before me, I've been through the lows of the lows and the gut-wrenching pain. But I've been through the triumphs and the wins and the indescribable highs, all of which I consider to be my lessons in the school of life. On this show, we are going to start some conversations to ignite new world ideas into some very old age businesses. So if you're a leader, a business mind, or an entrepreneur, get ready to think, act, and feel differently so that we can all reach a new level of business success together. So, what are you waiting for? Welcome back to this week's episode of She Can Humanize Business. I'm flying solo today and I'm in this beautiful studio here in Nambour on the Sunshine Coast. So thank you to Sophie from On Track Studios for having me today. I thought this was a great little opportunity for me to speak into some new things that are going on in my world. And everything, as you have heard if you've listened to episodes of mine in the past, is around humanizing business and how do we do that in an effective and a wholesome way. So today I thought I would step into explaining and sharing my new journey. I am still running my company and we still have Imperial, which is a national conveyancing and law firm. But for me, I knew that I wasn't born to be a conveyancer. I was gifted with the skills of understanding the transaction, being able to relate with the humans and make the transaction as personalised and unique as possible. And I love what I do in that world of conveyancing. But as I said, that's not what I was born to do. And anyone who's followed my journey, you'll see that I've done many different things along the way. I like to describe it as my mosaic of life. My mosaic is very colourful. However, everything does feed into one another in a sense of really combining that human way of doing life and doing business and making them one and the same. I was really blessed to be able to present last week in Melbourne at the BDM Summit, and I was asked to present on the purple pill. So I thought I might start here with sharing a little bit of my analogy of the purple pill and how it's changed my life and how I have changed as a result of that. So I was born into this world, living, breathing, learning from the big people around me in what I would describe as the blue pill world. The blue pill world, as we know from the movie The Matrix and previous episodes that I've spoken about, in that movie, Neo was given two options, either take the blue pill or the red pill. So the blue pill world, as like that movie, you stay plugged into the system. To me, that means that we are living in our corporate doing head world, driven by ego, driven by fear, driven by judgment, driven by external validation. I know for me, I was running in my masculine energy all the time and I didn't know any different. And man, it got me really far. You know, it's not a bad thing. It was just the world that I was born into. My mum worked really, really hard her whole life. So did my dad. I watched everybody around me work their asses off. So I knew no different. So when I came into the workforce, I knew that if I wanted to be successful, I had to work my ass off. So I did. But working my ass off meant that I didn't spend any time getting to know who I was. I did everything from seeking or seeking external validation. So the blue pill is a really kind of fixed mindset. I truly believed that I was born this way and that I can't change and I won't change. People had to change to adapt to me, not the other way around. So this blue world was finances and success and power and being on the top of the mountain alone or solo or independent. It's that notion of radical freedom where I'm fiercely independent, no one can knock me down. damn everybody else, I'm going to do it. And as I said, it got me to a certain point until I started to realize, and I had two beautiful humans in my world identify this to me. One where in my relationship, my nickname started as the Ice Queen because I was, one would call it stoic, but I wasn't being stoic. I was being stubborn, numb, blocked. My walls were up so high, not even the person that I loved the most could feel my warmth. And then another who identified that after a few times of seeing me at meetings and events, he goes, oh God, I thought you were a stuck-up bitch. And to me, I went, wow, I'm a lovely person. If this is what's going out on the inside, then who am I? If this is what's going out, who am I? So that led me down the path of there must be more. There must be something else. There must be this whole other part to the world that I'm missing. And that was when I was invited to discover spirituality. And to me, spirituality was this gateway to possibilities, to opportunities, to learn things that I never thought, understand fundamentally that I could change, that I didn't have to live the life that I had been served, because that serve of a life felt like a life sentence. I was running on adrenaline. I was constantly moving, going, and then I'd explode because my emotions were so suppressed. And then, it's like my cup was overflowing, go from no emotions to 100 emotions in a second. So by discovering this other side of the world, which if we go back to the analogy of the movie, that's the red pill world. It's being unplugged from the system, knowing all of the kind of like the stuff behind the veil. But again, in the movie, they say that, unknowingly, you now can't unknow what you know. So blessings and curses, right? But for me, this world of spirituality led me on a very deep internal journey. It led me to open my emotions. I learnt my emotions for the first time at the age of 30. I'd felt the joys of highs and happiness. Every time I'd win, I succeed, I'd be like, yes, I've done it. To then the polarizing emotional explosion of what the hell did I do to deserve this? How many truckloads of kittens did I kill in a previous life to be smacked over and over again? Because I really, really, truly believed that I was a victim of the life I was living. So through this red pill journey, which if I was to explain it in similarities to the blue, it's awareness, it's slowing down, it's understanding that we are all here with a path laid before us and we get to choose the way that unfolds by who we are, who we show up to be. I got to unlock my feminine energy, which was something that I hadn't been able to before. And for me, that was an incredible turning point in how I was a leader in my business and how I was a parent at home, how I showed up in relationships and how I was as a human, especially towards my family. So while it wasn't easy, the pain that comes from learning that the lessons we have been served are simply gifts to understand more about who we are and why we're here and what we're put on this earth to do, the pain is very different. So the pain that I felt before, where this was, why does this happen to me? What have I done to deserve this? Versus the pain of realization of, oh my goodness, that's why that happened. And that's how I am who I am today. It's a wow moment. Yeah, it still hurts, but it's hurting in a, God, I wish I knew that sooner. So by learning the red way of life and slowing down and getting in touch with my emotions and internally feeling myself, feeling my soul, loving myself, that need for external validation disappeared. That leading with masculine energy disappeared. And I found this world of slow and still and gentle. Then came the conundrum, because I was still running a corporate business, significantly large one for little old me. I was still a parent to two children who needed me and had their own challenges to deal with, I still had to show up every day. But in this world that I created, I took my focus so deeply into me that I let some of that slip. I loved my kids deeper than I ever had, but I went so far into the feminine that the structure and the routine that they really crave wasn't as strong in the company side, the finances, the profit and loss, the balance. I took my eye off everything. So there came this point in time of being like, well, God, I've got to be two people. I've got to be boss bitch when I walk in the door, put my structure and routine hat on. Then when I'm on my own and, one-on-one with kids, I get to be this flowy, beautiful woman. Until I realized that, I could be both. Why do I have to pretend to be someone over here and pretend to be someone over here? Why the fuck do I have to battle every time I step out the door to figure out which freaking mask I need to put on? Why the hell do I have to constantly be what everyone else needs me to be? Why can't I just be me? Why can't I just be unapologetically me all the time? And that point in life, I made a decision. And I realized that some people weren't going to like it. Some people were going to love it. That's okay. Because I was so sick of playing roles. I felt like a puppet on strings, dancing for the people that needed me to dance. And every time I'd meet someone or see someone, or I'd almost instantly go into this phase of, oh, what do they need me to be? How do I be that? How do I impress this person? How do I make friends with this person? Fuck, it's exhausting. So I found my flow of purple. And this is where the purple pill was born. I don't have to be both. I can just be me. I can be me at work. I can be me at home. I can mold the beautiful traits that I have in my blue pill: purpose, dedication, passion, drive, mixed with the beautiful traits of my red: consciousness, love, affection, compassion. Mix them both together. I still get to be the successful businesswoman, but with a conscious and loving heart. I still get to give my kids structure and boundaries and follow that up with tenderness and nurturing and care. I get to show up for you guys every week and have unapologetically authentic conversations. The things that I've shared on this podcast 5 years ago, I never would have said out loud because I was ashamed and I was embarrassed. I thought that there was something wrong with me and I thought I had to hide all of the bad things that had happened to me because people wouldn't respect me or trust me if I shared. So for even my closest friends, didn't really know who I was. And now there are no secrets. There are no skeletons in the wardrobe or monsters under the bed. Because for those who resonate, they resonate. And for those that don't, they don't. And that's okay. So by going through my purple pill journey and implementing that through work, running and opening multiple businesses, through enjoying the speaker circuit and getting to enjoy all of these opportunities, I realized that, I wasn't born to be a conveyancer, but I'm a pretty good business person. And even though that wasn't going to be the forever thing, gosh, the skills that it's taught me to be able to get to where I am today, I'm so grateful. And by wearing the hats that I had to wear, I learnt skills. I learnt abilities to speak to people on all different levels, to ask questions. The biggest skill I learnt was to be able to listen. Listen and hold. And as I kept showing up as me and I kept bringing me forwards, inch by inch, uncomfortable conversation, uncomfortable edge at a time, I got to what felt like a rebirth or a reemerge as not a new me. It's almost like the original version of me that not even I knew existed. So as I watched the business success, me be able to do multiple things, I need and crave variety in my life. So I did that. And I got to be able to live my dreams. And I am now living my dreams. And the one part for me has always been really clear: education and knowledge. I love standing in front of a group of people and educating. I love having those one-on-one calls with clients and being able to make something that is so confusing to them really simple. I love being able to provide clarity where there's confusion, direction where there's disruption, and strategy. Everything is around strategy. And that's where my blue pill world really thrives with that. Because if there's no plan, there's no outcome, which is something that took me a very long time to appreciate because I was always so busy doing other things. So now I've been able to step into this new role. Well, it feels new. I've been doing it for almost a year now, but bringing my gifts to life, bringing my value forwards, and being really comfortable in the space of mentoring and coaching. So I predominantly have realized that for a lot of us individuals who are in business, it is a pretty lonely place, but it doesn't have to be. I've realized that who I was in business when I first started was lost, confused, challenged. I felt like I was always disappointed. It was like nothing was ever enough. Even if I'd worked a 14-hour day, I'd wake up the next morning and be like, oh, I still didn't do this, and I still didn't do this, and I still didn't do this, and I still didn't do this. Bloody hell. I was never actually happy. I was never really satisfied with the outcome. So I know for me that finding that clarity, which I found in business coaches, and it really changed my whole world. But I realized it wasn't just the business coaching for me, it was the mindset coaching. Because it's all well and good to grow $1 million business, which I did very, very young, before I even really knew or understood. Actually, no, not really. I definitely didn't understand what I was doing, but I did. But my mindset was not $1 million business mindset. I was still stuck on Struggle Street as a solopreneur, a sole trader in my mind, not worthy of being here, not knowledgeable enough, not old enough, not wise enough, not educated enough. I was stuck in this pit of self-pity, even though I'd gotten that milestone that I didn't even know I'd gotten. It's backwards, but it was. So what I realized that in order for me to maintain a multi-million-dollar business, I had to be a multi-million-dollar human. And without that, this doesn't actually matter because I know I got there, didn't really care. What's next? Great, how do we double it? Where's the achievement? Constantly going, doing, pushing. And me as a human was slowly dying on the inside. No satisfaction, no happiness, no pat on the back. And even when people did pat me on the back, I wouldn't believe them. They'd be like, oh yeah, great, I could have done better. I know I've still got a to-do list there. Why are you congratulating me? I laugh now, but it was life for a really long time. The only way that I believed I was successful was if I sat up till midnight doing emails and told everybody about it the next day. If someone would comment on the beautiful office that I had or how successful I seemed. The true happiness I realized came when I started to believe that I was that person, that I had done those things, that I was worthy of being that business owner, that networker, that beautiful human. And in me creating this mastery program that I've created, I refused to do the business without the mind. I do not believe that I would be doing my clients a service if I was to simply focus on business and not excel them as humans, because you can't have one without the other. You can, but how long it lasts, who knows? How happy you are, not at all. Fulfillment to me is balance. The purple to me is balance and harmony. Our business has its own internal navigation system. Just like we in the world that we live in, we have seasons, summer, autumn, winter, spring. The clock goes from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. We have so many cycles that we go through, but we tend to forget that our business, just like the world, is an organism of its own. And it should be treated that way. It has its own seasons. It has its own clock. And it has its own cycles, as we do as humans. Females and males have very different cycles from a hormones perspective. But we also have life cycles. We have 7-year milestones that we reach as humans. As you would know in the spiritual world, or even not, we have star signs that align to where the moon is. We have full moon cycles. We have seasons as individuals, as humans, and we all have an age, so there is a clock attached. So what I went away and did through watching, experiencing, exploring, going back, trying, testing, and evolving the success that I had in launching and running successful businesses was learn the cycles, learn the seasons, learn the clock, the timeline. And then in the other side with the mindset world, I did the same thing. Cycles, seasons. I did research. I spoke to astrologers. I spoke to kinesiologists. I've spoken to all of the professionals to give us the insight as humans through our evolution. And believe it or not, when I married up our business cycles and seasons with our human cycles and seasons, there were some very, very clear consistencies. But think about it this way. A business has its own cycle and its own season. So if, for instance, we want to have vegetables, do we plant them in the summertime or do we plant them in the wintertime? It's a bit like our business. If our business is going through a growth phase, is that when we start the marketing? Or when our business is slowing, is that when we start the marketing? Understanding the cycle and the phase that your business is in alignment with the cycle and the phase that you are in, will give you clarity and direction to be able to project what needs to happen. Because for a lot of us, and I know I was one of these, I ran my business reactionary. When it was good, it was good. When it was terrible, it was terrible. Nothing I could do about it. Blue pill mind. I can't change it. It's the economy. It's the interest rates. I would blame external circumstances because of my business success. And just like my mind, when I would have a downtime, I'd be like, oh, it's because so-and-so spoke to me poorly, or because this isn't being done right, or because I'm going through a childhood trauma. They're excuses. What I have been able to develop has given me an ability to be able to give my clients futuristic clarity on where their business is at, where their business is going, and implement strategies at the right time for the right outcomes. Because learning your business should just be as important as learning your own mind and your own makeup. So in order to do that, I have created some programs, masterminds, challenges, one-on-one opportunities to be able to work with clients to really get to the nitty-gritty. To me, it's really important that it's covered off in a really conducive way, simple, nothing too complicated. We have a lot of fun. I like fun because we really should not take ourselves too seriously. We unlock the ability to be able to master the mind and the skills to build a 7-figure business and beyond. Because without the mind and the skills in harmony together, reaching those milestones are just not going to happen. So I have a little workbook that's available, and in there, most people like starting with business. So I started the workbook with the mindset. But some of the business questions, just so that you can get an idea. What business are you really in? And I know for me, when I first got asked this question, it was, well, I'm a conveyancer. And then the next question is, explain what you do without saying what you do. Okay, that changes the answer slightly. So what business are you really in? Meaning not what do you do, but what are you offering? Feelings, emotions, outcomes, promises. So for me as a conveyancer, I drilled down, right, okay, I am in the business of being able to create transparency so that my clients can buy the house of their dreams to create safety and security for their family through a property portfolio and investment opportunities to create their empire. So if you're a business owner, I would definitely ask you to ponder that question. What business are you really in? Because I know for me there's thousands of conveyancers. So what sets me apart? Why am I different? Why should people come to my business over someone else's? And I know the answer to that question, but you may not. Your unique selling proposition is really important, and it starts with emotions. It starts with why, not what. So dive into that. And then on the mind side, it's a beautiful place to start by asking yourself, who am I? Who am I? Most of us will start with, I'm a conveyancer, I'm a business owner, I'm a mum, I'm a friend, I'm an auntie, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm a granddaughter, I am a Pilates enthusiast, I love sunsets, I love sunrises, I love beach walks, I am all of these things. But again, if we look at it, taking away of the doing and the titles, the who am I question is, I am kind, I am warm-hearted, I am understanding, I'm an incredible listener, I am generous, I am very, very loyal, and I'm a connector because I want everybody to feel included. Has a bit of a different feel to it, doesn't it? So again, it's understanding where we are, the doing, who we are underneath, and then gaining clarity on where we want to be. And for a lot of us, where we want to be is not where we are right now. And that's okay. This now gives you the opportunity to perhaps consider that help is out there and that there is another way to do things if you are willing to do it. So to wrap up, I am gifting everyone who listens to this an opportunity to jump on a call with me. If you are interested in how this may help you, your business, or even just your life, even if you don't have a business, the mindset side of it so that you can gain clarity around who you are is on its own an important piece. So I'm gifting you an obligation-free consultation, which you can book in the link on my Calendly. I would love to have an opportunity to spend some time with you to understand you, your directions, your goals, who you are beneath what you do, because we live in a world of what we do creates who we are. But the world that I wish to live in is who we are creates what we do. Because if we are not fulfilled in what we're doing, then we're not going to be fulfilled as humans. So let's bring the human to the front, humanize the business, and reach those goals that you've always wanted to, but have just been out of reach. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. I hope you found this episode valuable. I am extremely excited to be on this journey and be able to have an audience to share this with. So thank you. My absolute appreciation is heartfelt and genuine. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Please tune in next week. We have an incredible lineup of guests coming on. You know where to find us on all the social media platforms. She Can Humanize Business. Thank you once again. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I would love to hear your feedback around what resonated and what key lessons and learnings that you took out of today's episode. You can find me on Instagram and on LinkedIn under the She Can Humanize Business podcast or Kiani Mills. I really hope that you were able to see, feel and experience a new way of humanizing business.